I want to talk about something that's been making me feel quite anxious lately, and I've been kind of keeping this to myself. Actually, I have been very much keeping this to myself, and it's something that I don't really talk about often. Obviously, online, I am the fitness coach. I'm the one telling other women to trust themselves. I'm the one telling women to stop comparing their bodies. I'm the one telling women to be consistent and to keep showing up regardless of what. And behind the scenes, I'm actually sat there questioning myself. Yeah, like, am I doing enough? Am I actually doing enough? And I feel like this is a question that a lot of us ask ourselves in our personal life, in our relationships, in our friendships, in our careers, all aspects of life, can find ourselves sat there thinking, am I actually doing enough here? Am I doing enough? For me, it's, am I doing enough as a PT? Am I doing enough as a coach? Am I doing enough with my own fitness journey? Am I doing enough with my own business, with my own personal life, with everything? For some reason lately, I have been feeling it a lot more heavier, shall I say? And I think it's because I'm self-employed, so there's this constant feeling that you should always be doing more. There's no clocking off, and somebody tells you you've done enough today, Shala, you can go home. And it's kind of just you decide. And sometimes I really struggle with that. I think one of the hardest things about being self-employed is that there isn't really a clear finish line. When you work for somebody else, you have your hours, you do your job, and you go home. Obviously, there are still stresses, but there is a very obvious point where you can say, right, I'm done. Whereas with your own business, there's always another email, there's always another text. Like, the amount of times I'll be just minding my own business, I'm not in work, I'm not training, I'm not at the desk. I could be in the cinema, it's 10 p.m. and I'll get a message from a client. Can we swap our session tomorrow? Hey, can we do this? Do I reply to this message or do I wait until the morning? And 9 times out of 10, I will always reply. Like, I'm so bad at setting a boundary of, this is work talk, we don't do work talk at 10 p.m. because then it becomes 11 p.m. and there's been times where clients have messaged me at midnight and I've been responding at midnight. So that is in itself my fault for not setting the boundary. And I find myself, again, not being fully present when I'm out and about or just in my own home, enjoying my personal free time just like anyone else is entitled to, because I feel like I need to be constantly on. I need to reply to a client as soon as possible. I need to reply to a lead as soon as possible. I need to be just constantly on. You know, again, with a business, it's not even just like the replying to messages and to clients. It's everything that comes with it. With the business is, I would say 80% of it is marketing. Like 80% is constantly showing to the world, hey, I'm also here. Hey, this is my business. This is what I do. Constantly, every single day, showing the world that you are there, that you are ready for your services. Any other brand, any other business, there's always marketing, right? Another film that I need to film. There's another idea I could work on. There's another way to make money. There's another thing I can learn. There's another thing I can fix. There's constantly something. Like I said, there's no switching off. There's always something to keep growing with your business. There's always something to learn about your business. There's always something to fix. There's always something to improve. There's always something to post. There's always something to create, to edit, and so forth and so forth and so forth. And then you see someone else online doing more than you and you're like, fuck, maybe I'm not doing enough. And I think I've been getting myself into that headspace recently because logically, I know I'm working, I know I'm coaching people, I know I'm training, I know I'm creating content, I know I'm trying to build something. But emotionally, sometimes it still feels like I'm behind. And I think the PT and coaching side of it is probably the thing I've been questioning the most because I care so much about actually being good at what I do. I don't want to just be somebody on Instagram who looks fit and then tells people to eat protein and do squats. I actually want to be a really good fucking coach. I want my clients to get results. I want to understand what they're struggling with. I want to be able to help them when they're having a shit week. And sometimes because I care about that so much, I start questioning whether I'm doing enough. Should I be checking in more? Should I be creating more? Should I be learning more? Should I be doing more for my clients? Should I be charging more? Should I be getting more clients? And then suddenly what started as I want to be a good coach turns into feeling like I have to be this absolutely perfect coach who is switched on 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. And that's obviously not realistic. And then there is the financial side of being self-employed, which I think is something people don't really talk about because yes, it's amazing being your own boss. I love having control over my time. I love being able to build something that's mine. I love the fact that technically my income isn't capped by someone else's salary structure. But there's also a side of it that is really fucking scary. It's because there isn't a guaranteed number coming into your bank account every month. Like there are months where I've had really low months and there's months that I've had really high months. Like it really is unpredictable at times. So yeah, you don't know exactly what next month is going to actually look like. When your brain client is already somebody who likes certainty, that's really, really uncomfortable. You can have a really good month and then immediately your brain goes, okay, but can you maintain it? You get a client, you're happy for about 5 minutes, and then you're thinking, okay, but where's the next one coming from? I think that's where I've been putting a lot of pressure on myself, because I have all these goals for myself. I know the kind of business I want, I know the kind of life I want, and sometimes I look at where I am now and think, am I actually moving quickly enough? And then weirdly, all of that anxiety seems to spill into my physique as well, because I think when you're a fitness coach, it's very easy to feel like your body is part of your CV. Like, this is what I look like, so people are going to judge whether I am a good coach based on this, which I know isn't necessarily true, but I'd be lying if I said I never think about it. And I've actually been feeling a little bit uncomfortable with my physique recently, not because I think I've suddenly become fat, I haven't, but because I've gained a little bit of weight, like literally a kilo, and I've been intentionally gaining that weight. I've been reverse dieting, I've been eating more, I'm trying to build more muscle. I know exactly why I'm doing it. I know that muscle doesn't magically appear out of nowhere. I know that if I want to build my lower body, I'm probably going to have to accept my body changing. I know all of this, but there's still that tiny little voice in the back of my head that goes, what if you get fat again? I think that's the part that has surprised me, because I genuinely thought I'd move past that. I've done so much work around my relationship with food and my body. I've spent years trying to become smaller. I've been through the restriction, I've been through the overeating, I've been through the guilt, I've been through the whole cycle of trying to control my body and then feeling completely out of control around food. And now I'm at a point where I'm literally telling women, you don't need to be terrified of gaining weight. You can eat more, you can build muscle. Your body changing doesn't mean you failed. And then occasionally I look at myself and that little old fear comes back. And I think that's important to admit, because I don't want to sit here pretending that once you've learned something, you're never going to struggle with it again. Sometimes you know better and you still feel the old feeling. The difference is what you do with it. And I think that's probably the biggest thing I'm trying to remind myself of at the moment. I don't need to react to every feeling. Just because I feel anxious about gaining weight doesn't mean I need to start restricting again. Just because I feel like I'm not doing enough in my business doesn't mean I need to work until midnight. Just because I'm worried about whether I'm good enough as a coach doesn't mean I need to constantly prove myself. And I think that is accountability too, because we talk about accountability so much in fitness. Did you hit your calories? Did you hit your steps? Did you train? But accountability is also being honest with yourself about what's actually going on in your head. Sometimes the accountable thing isn't doing more. Actually, I'm anxious. I'm comparing myself. I'm putting too much pressure on myself, and I need to step back, because you can become obsessed with being productive just as easily as you can become obsessed with your body. I think that's the chapter I'm in at the moment. I'm trying to build a body that I'm proud of without constantly needing to be smaller. I'm trying to build a business that gives me the freedom of what I actually want without feeling like I have to work every second of the day. I'm trying to become a better coach without believing that I have to be perfect. And I'm trying to build a life where I don't constantly feel like I'm behind. And honestly, I don't have a perfect answer for any of it. I think that's what makes this uncomfortable, because I would love to sit here and be like, here's exactly how I fix my anxiety. Here's exactly how I built my business. Here's exactly how I stopped caring about my weight. I'm still figuring it out, and I'm in it. And I think that's probably something I need to get more comfortable with, because I have the tendency to think I need to have everything figured out before I can talk about it. But maybe I don't. Maybe I can just say, this is where I'm at right now. I'm a coach who sometimes questions whether she's good enough. I'm a woman who is intentionally gaining weight to build muscle and still occasionally gets scared of getting fat. I'm self-employed, and sometimes I have absolutely no idea if I'm doing enough. And I'm building a life that I really, really want, while also being scared that I might not be doing enough to actually get there. And I think that's okay, because maybe the goal isn't to never feel anxious or uncertain again. Maybe it's to stop letting those feelings making the decisions for you. So that's where I'm at. Apparently we're doing a little bit of a vulnerable vlog today, and hopefully I'm not the only one who feels like they should constantly be doing more, achieving more, looking better, earning more, being better, because honestly, it's fucking exhausting.